stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. This video did not exist in your reality until your attention landed upon it. It was a mere potential, a wave of probability in an infinite field of information. Your consciousness, your act of observation, just pulled it from the ether and made it real for you. Now ask yourself, if you can do that with a video, what else can you do? This is especially true if you are feeling tired right now, mentally exhausted. Because I am about to reveal why this state of being, the one you've been taught to avoid, is actually the secret gateway to your most profound power. By the end of our time together, you will no longer see exhaustion as a weakness, but as a quantum superpower. You will understand how the observer effect bypasses your ego when your mind is weak, allowing you to rewrite your reality. Have you ever had a brilliant idea or solved a complex problem right as you were about to fall asleep? Let me know in the comments below. Before we dive deeper, you must understand the landscape of your own existence. What you call reality is not a fixed, solid stage upon which you act. It is a shimmering, vibrant ocean of pure, unformed potential. Metaphysics calls this the quantum field. It is the womb of all creation, containing every possible outcome, every possible timeline, every possible version of you. It exists as a sea of probability waves, waiting for a command. And what is the command that turns this infinite potential into a singular, tangible experience? It is the focused beam of your awareness. It is your consciousness. The ancient mystics and now the quantum physicists are telling us the same thing. The act of observation is not a passive act of seeing what is already there. It is an active, powerful, and divine act of creation. It is the force that collapses the wave of infinite possibilities into the one particle of your experience. You are not a visitor in this universe. You are the very mechanism through which the universe experiences itself. So if your consciousness is this powerful, why isn't your life a perfect reflection of your desires? The answer lies with a powerful gatekeeper, a program designed to protect you, but one that has overstepped its bounds. This is your ego. The ego is the guardian of your current reality. Its primary function is to maintain consistency. It builds a fortress of beliefs based on your past experiences, your five senses, and the collective consensus. It tells you, this is how the world works, and it has always worked this way. It analyzes, it judges, it doubts, and it fears. When you try to manifest something new, something that lies outside the walls of its fortress, the ego sounds the alarm. It floods your mind with logic, reasons why it can't happen, and memories of past failures. It is the static that drowns out the signal you are sending to the quantum field. Its job is to filter reality, ensuring that what you experience tomorrow is consistent with what you experienced yesterday. It is the ultimate preserver of the status quo and the biggest obstacle to your quantum leap. This brings us to the great paradox of creation, the reason why so many who practice the law of attraction fail. The more you try, the more you force, the more you hustle to manifest something, the more resistance you create. Why? Because all of that effort, that forceful energy, originates from the ego. It is the ego that feels the lack. It is the ego that desperately wants the new car, the relationship, the money. And when the ego is the one doing the asking, it is simultaneously screaming to the universe, I do not have this. This forceful desire reinforces the reality of its absence. The quantum field does not respond to your words or your desperate pleas. It responds to your state of being. It responds to your vibration, your frequency. When you are efforting and struggling, your state of being is one of resistance. You are pushing against the very current of creation you wish to ride. The ego cannot create anything new. It can only rearrange the pieces of the past. To create the truly miraculous, you must go beyond the ego. Now, let's redefine the state you call tired. I am not speaking of deep physical exhaustion from a day of hard labor. I am speaking of a specific kind of mental fatigue. It is the state at the end of a long day, when your analytical mind has run out of fuel. It's that moment when you can no longer overthink, when you are too tired to worry, too drained to argue with yourself. This is not a state of weakness. It is a state of surrender. It is a holy moment when the constant chatter of the ego mind finally subsides. You have stopped trying to control everything, to figure everything out, to manage every outcome. You simply let go. In this surrender, you are not giving up. You are giving in. You are yielding to a greater intelligence that flows through you. This mental tiredness is a crack in the armor of the ego. And it is through this crack that the light of your true consciousness, your true creative power, can finally shine through, unimpeded and unfiltered. Imagine the ego is a relentless guard patrolling the gates of your subconscious mind. All day long, this guard inspects every thought, every idea. If a thought doesn't align with its established rulebook of what is possible or realistic, it is immediately rejected. That's a silly dream. It says, you can't do that. It scoffs. But what happens when the guard has been on duty for 16 straight hours? He becomes drowsy, his attention wavers. He starts to nod off at his post. This is precisely what happens when your mind is tired. The critical faculty, the analytical guard of the ego, lets its defenses down. It no longer has the energy to censor your thoughts. An idea that would have been instantly dismissed at 10 in the morning, an idea about a new invention, a new life path, or a solution to an impossible problem, can now slip past the sleeping guard and plant itself directly into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. This is the bypass. This is the moment when you are no longer limited by your past because the guardian of your past has fallen asleep on the job. There is a science to this sacred state. When your mind is active, alert, and analytical, the ego's prime time, your brain operates predominantly in beta brainwaves. This is the state of thinking. But as you become tired, relaxed, or meditative, your brainwaves slow down. They shift into alpha, the state of relaxed awareness, and then into theta. The theta state is the realm of dreams, deep meditation, and profound creativity. It is the gateway to the subconscious mind. Children spend most of their time in theta, which is why they learn so quickly and live in a world of imagination and magic. When you are mentally tired, hovering in that space between wakefulness and sleep, you are naturally entering this theta state. You are literally opening the door to the operating system of your reality. In this state, your consciousness is not filtered through the logic of the beta mind. It is communicating directly with the subconscious, the part of you that is connected to the universal quantum field. This is not just a feeling of being tired. It is a neurological and vibrational shift into your creator state. And it is precisely here, in this unguarded, surrendered theta wave state, that the observer effect becomes your ultimate tool. Let's be very clear about what the observer effect truly means from a creator's perspective. Quantum physics has shown that at the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of pure potential, a wave of all possibilities, until they are observed. The moment they are observed, the wave collapses into a single, definite particle. Now apply this to your entire reality. The quantum field is the wave of all possibilities for your life. Your consciousness is the observer. When you are in your normal, ego-driven state, you are constantly observing your life through a filter of past beliefs and expectations. Therefore, you keep collapsing the same old particles, the same old realities, over and over again. But when the ego is tired, the filter is removed. Your pure, untainted consciousness is now looking out at the field of potential, and what it chooses to observe even for a fleeting moment, is what collapses into your new reality. This is a pivotal shift in understanding that you must integrate right now. You are not a person observing a separate, pre-existing reality. You are consciousness itself, selecting a reality from an infinite menu of possibilities through the act of your attention. Think of the quantum field as an infinite, uncarved block of marble. Your focused attention is the chisel. In your normal ego-driven state, you keep chiseling the same statue you carved yesterday because the ego tells you that's the only statue that exists. But in the tired, surrendered state, you put down the old chisel. You realize you are not the statue. You are the sculptor. And you can see for the first time the infinite other forms sleeping within the marble. Your awareness, free from the ego's dogma, can now place its focus on a completely new form, a completely new timeline, a completely new state of being. And in that moment of pure, non-judgmental observation, the universe has no choice but to conform. The marble begins to take the new shape you have observed. Why is the ego so resistant to this? Why does it fight so hard to keep you observing the same reality? Because the ego's entire identity is built upon the past. It is a creature of habit and memory. It finds safety in the known, even if the known is painful or limiting. A new reality, a quantum leap, is terrifying to the ego because it represents the unknown. It is a death of its old identity. If you suddenly manifest great wealth, the ego that identified as struggling has to die. If you find deep, fulfilling love, the ego that identified as lonely or unworthy has to dissolve. The ego will do anything to avoid this death. It will use logic, fear, and self-sabotage to keep you anchored to the familiar shore. This is why forceful manifestation fails. It is a declaration of war against your own security system. The true path is not to fight the ego, but to wait for it to fall asleep. To use those moments of mental fatigue when its grip loosens, and your true self, the fearless quantum observer, can finally take the helm. Consider this tired state as a system override for your personal reality program. Your daily life runs on an autopilot program created by the ego and subconscious beliefs. It dictates your reactions, your recurring thoughts, and your perception of the world. Trying to change this program through sheer willpower is like trying to rewrite a computer's code while the computer is running. The system will constantly reject the new commands because they conflict with the existing operating parameters. But when you are in that mentally exhausted, pre-sleep state, you have accessed the system's safe mode. The main resistant programs are temporarily shut down. The critical factor is offline. In this state, a new command, a new thought, a new vision is not analyzed or judged. It is accepted directly as a new line of code. It is written into your fundamental programming. This is why a single, clear intention, held in this state for just a few seconds, can be more powerful than hours of affirmations and visualizations performed in a state of egoic resistance. You are not fighting the system. You are simply updating it while the security guard is away. This reveals the incredible power of a fleeting thought. Have you ever been drifting off to sleep and had a random, gentle thought like, "Wouldn't it be nice if..." And then, days later, that very thing happens? This was not an accident. In that tired state, your thought was not burdened by the ego's usual baggage of how and when and is this possible? It was a pure, non-attached signal. It was a clear, simple observation of a desired potential in the quantum field. The ego wasn't there to immediately follow it up with 100 reasons why it's impossible. It was just a pure, clean imprint. This is the secret. The most powerful manifestations are not born from desperate, emotionally charged, forceful thoughts. They are born from the gentle, whisper-light, almost forgotten thoughts that slip past the sleeping ego. A thought that is held lightly, a vision that is felt as real for just a moment without any attachment to the outcome, is a direct command to the universe. It is a seed planted in the most fertile soil, which will sprout in its own divine timing. Think about the classic trope of the late-night epiphany, the scientist who has struggled with a problem for months, the writer who has faced a block for weeks, the entrepreneur who cannot see the path forward. They work and they struggle and they force it, all to no avail. Then they finally give up for the day. They surrender. And in that moment of mental exhaustion, perhaps as they are taking a shower or drifting off to sleep, the entire solution appears in their mind, fully formed. Where did it come from? It did not come from their analytical ego mind. That mind had already failed. It came from their connection to the quantum field, the universal consciousness that holds all solutions. The moment their ego surrendered its struggle, it created a vacuum. It opened a channel. And the information they were seeking, which was always available, could finally flow through. This is not just for geniuses and inventors. This is a mechanism that is available to you every single night. The answers you seek are not found in struggle. They are received in surrender. This experience of receiving a solution or an idea in a tired state is often accompanied by a profound feeling. It's not a logical deduction. It's a feeling of knowing. You don't know how you know it, you just know it's the right answer. There's a certainty, a peace, a resonance to it that bypasses all logic. This feeling is the signature of truth. It is the confirmation that you have received a direct download from the universal mind, not a calculation from your ego. The ego's solutions are always complex, filled with pros and cons, and fraught with anxiety. A solution from the quantum field feels simple, elegant, and self-evident. Learning to recognize this feeling is a crucial part of mastering your creative power. When you feel that deep, quiet, unshakable knowing, you must learn to trust it above all else. It is your inner guidance system, your direct line to infinite intelligence, speaking to you most clearly when the static of your own thinking mind has finally gone quiet. So how do you consciously recognize and utilize this powerful creative state? It has many names: the hypnagogic state, the state akin to sleep, the void. It is the magical borderland you inhabit every night as you drift into sleep, and every morning as you emerge from it. It's the feeling of a lucid daydream, where your thoughts have a vivid, almost tangible quality. You can begin to notice it by paying attention to your internal state as you lie in bed. Your body is heavy and relaxed. Your mind is no longer racing with the day's events. Thoughts become more fluid, more symbolic, like snippets of a dream. This is the golden hour for manifestation. It's the moment when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. Instead of letting your mind drift into random worries, you can gently and without force introduce a thought or a feeling of your desired reality. Don't visualize with effort. Simply feel what it would feel like if your desire were already a fact. In this state, that feeling is a direct instruction to the universe. However, this state of a weakened ego holds both immense potential and a significant danger. It is a double-edged sword. The subconscious mind is completely impartial. It does not judge what you impress upon it as good or bad. It simply accepts the imprint and begins the process of creating it in your reality. Therefore, if you go to sleep every night in a state of worry, anxiety, or resentment, you are using this incredibly powerful creative period to program your future with more things to worry about. You are impressing the feeling of lack directly onto the quantum field, bypassing the ego that might have otherwise tried to cheer you up. This is why the old adage, "Never go to bed angry," is profound metaphysical wisdom. The state in which you enter sleep is a powerful prayer, a blueprint for your tomorrow. Being conscious of your thoughts and feelings during this tired, receptive state is not just a mindfulness practice. It is the fundamental act of consciously creating your life. The true art of using this state is the art of letting go. And it is crucial to understand that letting go is not the same as giving up. Giving up is an act of the ego, steeped in frustration and defeat. Letting go is an act of the soul, steeped in trust and surrender. It is the conscious release of your ego's desperate need to control the outcome. It is the understanding that your only job is to choose your desired reality and feel its presence. And then you must release it to a higher intelligence to orchestrate the how. When you are in that tired, surrendered state, you are naturally practicing this art. You don't have the mental energy to micromanage the universe. You can simply state your intention, feel it as real, and then drift off, trusting that the infinite intelligence of the quantum field has received your order and is already arranging the people, events, and synchronicities to bring it into your experience. The ultimate power lies not in holding on tighter, but in having the courage to finally let go. Once you have successfully impressed a new reality upon the quantum field from this surrendered state, how do you know it has worked? The universe will begin to send you echoes. It will communicate with you through the language of synchronicity. You might suddenly see repeating numbers that are meaningful to you. You may overhear a conversation between strangers that contains the exact answer to a question you were pondering. The perfect person might call you out of the blue. These are not random coincidences. They are winks from the universe. They are the physical world beginning to rearrange itself to match the new blueprint you have created. They are confirmations that your observation has been registered, and the wave is now collapsing according to your new design. Your job when you notice these signs is not to question them, but to simply smile and say, "Thank you." Acknowledge them as proof that your power is real and that your new reality is on its way. This creates a feedback loop of faith that accelerates the manifestation process. Here is a simple, practical technique you can begin using tonight. As you lie in bed, ready for sleep, allow your body to become completely relaxed. Let the thoughts of the day drift away like clouds. When you feel yourself entering that drowsy, dreamlike state, gently bring to mind one thing you wish to experience. Do not focus on the wanting of it. Instead, imagine it has already happened. How would you feel right now if it were true? Would you feel relief, joy, gratitude, peace? Do not try to force this feeling. Simply ask the question and allow the feeling to wash over you naturally. Hold that gentle feeling for as long as you can without effort as you drift off to sleep. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. The key is to be soft and effortless. You are not commanding the universe. You are harmonizing with a reality that already exists in the quantum field. Do this for a few minutes each night, and then let it go completely. You have planted the seed. Now, let it grow. Remember this eternal truth. The feeling is the prayer. The quantum field does not respond to the images in your head as much as it responds to the vibration of your heart. You could visualize $1 million for hours, but if you feel poor while doing it, you are praying for more poverty. The subconscious mind and the universe itself speak the language of emotion. When you are in that tired, receptive state, you are more connected to your feeling body and less connected to your thinking mind. This is an immense advantage. It allows you to generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled much more easily. A single moment of genuinely feeling wealthy, loved, or healthy in that pre-sleep state is 1,000 times more powerful than 1,000 spoken affirmations. Your work is not to think your reality into existence. Your work is to feel your way into a new state of being. And when you change your state of being, your reality has no choice but to change with it, because your reality is nothing more than a mirror of who you are being. This is not a New Age concept. Many of the greatest minds in history understood and utilized this principle. Nikola Tesla, one of the most brilliant inventors who ever lived, claimed that his best ideas did not come from his rational mind. He spoke of a process where he would relax, clear his thoughts, and allow visions and solutions to appear in his mind's eye, fully formed and ready to be built. He was tapping into the universal mind, the quantum field. He would often enter a state akin to sleep, where his ego mind was quiet, to solve problems that his conscious intellect could not. He wasn't thinking his way to a solution, he was receiving it. He was a master observer who knew how to get his own ego out of the way. He understood that true genius is not about having a more powerful brain. It is about having a clearer channel to the infinite intelligence that is available to all of us, especially in those moments of quiet surrender. The final truth I want to leave with you is this: you have been doing this your entire life. This is not a new skill you need to learn. It is an innate power you need to remember. Think back to all the times something magical or coincidental happened in your life. The times you thought of someone and they called. The times you had a vague worry that came true. The times a perfect opportunity fell into your lap right after you had given up on finding one. In all of these instances, you were in a state of non-resistance. Your ego had stepped aside, and your pure consciousness made an observation that collapsed the quantum field. The only difference is that it was happening unconsciously. The invitation now is to become a conscious creator, to recognize these tired, surrendered moments not as a nuisance, but as a sacred portal. To take the helm of your consciousness and intentionally choose the realities you wish to experience. You are the observer, and the universe is waiting for you to decide what you want to see. So, the great secret is revealed. The reason your most powerful creations manifest when you are tired is because the you that is trying, the you that is limited by the past, has finally stepped aside. In that moment of surrender, your true self emerges. You are not a body with a consciousness. You are consciousness, temporarily observing reality through the lens of a body. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. When your mind is quiet, you bypass the ego and connect directly to the quantum field, impressing your will upon the fabric of all that is. You are the dreamer, and this world is your dream. Thank you for allowing this truth to awaken within you. If this message resonated, please subscribe and press the like button to anchor this frequency into your reality. And to fully claim this power, write this activation phrase in the comments below. I am the observer creating my reality. Finally, I want to ask you, what synchronicities have you started to notice in your life recently? Share your experiences below, and let's witness each other's magic.